Thousands of mysterious explosions across the country of Lebanon on Tuesday afternoon have left the terror organization Hezbollah in disarray and have shocked the country once again. Welcome to another All Israel News Update, where today we will try to understand what happened with these mysterious explosions across Lebanon and try to understand what the implications are for the continuation of the war between Hezbollah and Israel. So as I like to do, let's go back before going into depth into the event. Let's go back a few steps and try to understand how we got here. Now, the terror organization Hezbollah, according to the latest reports, has almost completely stopped using cell phones and started to use these pagers or beepers, which if you're around my age, you will probably never have seen or held one of these machines in your hand. They are being used by drug cartels and terror organizations, both of which Hezbollah is, by the way. They're being used to securely communicate between their different units, between their operatives, because these beepers cannot be, or at least it's very much harder for intelligence services to listen in and to intercept messages sent by these beepers. According to the latest information available, the shipment of pagers that blew up on Tuesday was only recently received by Hezbollah and was ordered to increase the security of the communications, also in preparation for a potential all-out war with Israel and also in reactions to prior intelligence interceptions by Israel. Now, on the Israeli side, let's remember and just clearly state here for the record that Israel has not commented whatsoever. No official comment has been published from Israeli leaders or politicians regarding the mysterious explosions. So everything we're saying here is not based on inside information or anything of the kind, but just on reports in international media and the few information available in Hebrew media as well. On Monday evening, so the day before the pager explosions occurred, the Israeli Security Cabinet took the decision to add the safe return of the evacuated residents of northern Israel to the list of official war goals. Remember that there is an estimated 60,000 Israeli residents who are still evacuated from their homes because Hezbollah has been attacking the towns and cities there without break for 11 months in declared support of Hamas, of course. Since that cabinet decision was taken on Monday evening, and then the following day all through Tuesday, Israel's political and security leadership was continually meeting and discussing about the security situation in the north, amid rumors and reports that Israel was about to start a major military offensive, either a ground offensive or large-scale airstrikes in Lebanon. So when the beepers exploded, this was the background, and many here in Israel were sure that now the ground offensive was about to begin, and the beeper explosions were just the first step meant to shock Hezbollah and to disable large parts of both its communications and, of course, many of its operatives in preparation for this Israeli offensive, which, of course, didn't happen. Another interesting wrinkle in the build-up, the lead-up to the beeper explosions, is a report in the Israeli media that said that amid all of these discussions, there was a short meeting between Netanyahu and the Mossad chief, Barnea, who at some point quickly left the discussions to go about some other undisclosed business. So again, we don't know who carried out this operation. There has been no responsibility taken by Israel, but very interesting events on that day. So the reports about what actually happened on the ground in Lebanon are pretty amazing, pretty incredible. Apparently this one operation completely threw the whole country into disarray. We had hospitals bursting with people bleeding from wounds at their hands and on their and other body parts. Many lost their eyes. Apparently reports say that around 500 Hezbollah operatives, terrorists, have lost one or two of their eyes during these attacks. Overall, the official numbers that we have from the Lebanese Health Ministry say that there were 2,750 people wounded, at least 11 killed for the moment, including, unfortunately, a 10-year-old girl, if the report is accurate. So the casualty numbers are staggering. The incidents happened across Lebanon, so they were focused on Beirut, a neighborhood in Beirut which is known to be a stronghold of Hezbollah. But there were also reports from towns in southern Lebanon where Hezbollah has a large presence, as well as towns across Lebanon. Several incidents apparently happened in Syria, where Hezbollah is also known to have a presence. And there were some other very interesting casualty reports as well. Maybe the most interesting report about a casualty in the beeper explosion operation is that the Iranian ambassador to Lebanon was reportedly wounded in this operation. There were conflicting reports about how bad his wounds were. I think official Iranian media outlets said that they were only superficial. However, a video that isn't confirmed but purportedly shows him arriving to the hospital, shows him with bandages across his face. He looks to be staggering and feeling his way around. And corresponding reports said that he may have lost one or even both of his eyes in this attack. Now, this just goes to underline the close connection between the Iranian regime and especially its Revolutionary Guard Corps and Hezbollah, the terror organization which was founded and is being funded and supported by the Iranian regime. Due to the large number of casualties, several countries have offered their assistance to Lebanon, among them Egypt and of course Iran, which has apparently already sent teams of doctors to help out Lebanese health system and hospital system, which is apparently at peak capacity, and reports also told of people being left outside of the hospitals because there was just not enough room to treat the thousands of casualties who all went there, who all needed help at the same moment, at the same time. If we're looking at reactions to what happened, the Lebanese placeholder prime minister, remember Lebanon is still in a constitutional crisis and doesn't have a real government at the moment, but placeholder Prime Minister Mikati called the attack, which he blamed on Israel, a crime by any standards and a violation of the sovereignty of Lebanon. In addition, the health ministry called on people to donate blood across the country and also called on people who have pagers to throw them away. Now, Hezbollah, which was the main target of this operation, also blamed it on Israel after initially releasing a statement that they were still investigating who was behind it. Later, the group released an official statement blaming Israel and vowing revenge. Not much new there. It's per usual for this terror group. Now, as mentioned, everyone thinks that Israel is responsible for this attack. There have been numerous reports that paint a somewhat clear picture by now. Apparently, the pagers were produced by a Taiwanese company, but when the police started raiding the company said, and later confirmed in an official statement, that the pagers were officially produced by this Taiwanese company, but were subcontracted and produced by a Hungarian company. We don't have much more information about this, but it's interesting and at least would provide space for the numerous theories that the Israeli Mossad in some way put its hand on these pagers at some point during this process and rigged them with explosives before they were sent to Hezbollah and given out to its commanders. Now again, these are speculations, these are unconfirmed reports, but at the moment, at the time of the filming of this video, this seems to be the most likely explanation after initial reports had suggested that maybe the batteries had heated up and exploded. The technical details of this amazing operation will probably be talked about for weeks, months, and years ahead. But meanwhile, some of the most important questions are still unanswered. For example, what was the intent behind this operation and what is its impact on Hezbollah now and in the continuing weeks ahead? The first and most obvious intent of an operation like this, which completely crippled Hezbollah and especially its communication systems for several hours, was to use it as a first step in a broader military offensive. We know now that this is not what happened, and on the Israeli border with Lebanon, things continued more or less as usual in the past 12 to 24 hours. Another interesting scenario was brought up by a report in Al Monitor, which suggested that Israeli intelligence was first of all responsible for the operation and started it when it noticed that two Hezbollah operatives had started to become suspicious about the rigged pagers, and so they say that the operation, according to the report, was carried out just to be able to use this operation, to be able to use this mechanism before it was discovered by Hezbollah and would be rendered inoperable for Israel. However, the question of what was the intent of the operation also depends on our information about the results that this operation had. For example, there is a Syrian journalist writing for Al Jazeera who said that in his opinion, this operation rendered Hezbollah incapable to even respond or carry out another one of its attacks against Israel. In his words, this operation set Hezbollah checkmate and has prevented the escalation of the ongoing fighting into an all-out war. This may have been one of the goals of this possibly Israeli operation as well. What is certain is that Hezbollah has suffered an enormous blow. The psychological impact of an attack like this alone will remain in the heads of Hezbollah operatives for the coming years. Whatever happens, we know that Hezbollah has suffered this blow, and now Israel is looking to Hezbollah's response to see what the course of the coming weeks will be. With the possibility of an Israeli military offensive, even a ground offensive into southern Lebanon still looming, for now the ball is in Hezbollah's court. According to the latest reports, today on Wednesday, the Israeli Air Force and aerial defense systems have raised their readiness, and all eyes are now focused on the northern border with Israel, looking to what Hezbollah will do in response to this unprecedented attack. Now, if it will not do anything, if it will continue as it has in the past weeks, the situation will not have changed dramatically. But if Hezbollah responds with a large strike, there is a possibility that Israeli military leadership and political leaders will see this as the pretext they need to go on a large offensive and maybe rid northern Israel of this threat that has been hanging over it for almost a year now. To stay updated on the latest news on the tensions on Israel's northern border, as well as all the fighting that Israel is in across several fronts, go on allisrael.com or visit our social media channels.